Hey there, movie fans. This is my Criterion Collection update of 2020. The last one I did was back in November 2018, so it's about time I finally did another update. Anyway, first up is this magnificent Ingmar Bergman's cinema box set. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. There are plenty of videos out there that give you a more in-depth look on this stunning release. And I do want to quickly show you the films that are included on this set. It's not the complete Bergman collection. It misses a few other films, but yeah, what a box set! What a box set! Absolutely a wonderful box set. And here's another wonderful box set. Well, it's not really a box set. It's more like a book. And I'm talking about the Godzilla Showa era collection, 1954-1975. Look at that. Look at that. That is amazing. Now, I was hesitating. You know, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get this because I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan, but then I saw a video where they showcased the whole set, and that made me decide to get it. You know, I could not restrain myself, but you know, Amazon did an amazing job with this fantastic release. And again, you know, I'm not going to show the whole thing. There are millions of YouTubers out there who did a much better job than I could ever do, you know. So, yeah, absolutely amazing. Next is a personal favorite of mine, and I was very happy when Criterion announced it. War and Peace by Sergei Bondarchuk. This is an absolute masterpiece. And you know, I have this film on DVD for years, and now it's finally out on Blu, restored in 2K. Yeah, this film practically invented the word epic. It doesn't get any more epic than this. It's also one of the longest films ever made. It's a little over 7 hours. And it won the Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film in 1969. And it was received by Ludmila Savoyeva, who plays Natasha in War and Peace. But when she came back to Moscow, the award was confiscated by KGB agents. Nobody really knows what happened to the Oscar. It's most likely destroyed, or maybe it's now part of Putin's private collection. Who knows? But mind you, the Cold War was still going on at the time, so the Soviet Union probably thought that the Academy Award was bugged or something. Anyway, War and Peace. Here's another beautiful release. You know, Criterion always put out beautiful releases, so there's no point of me to keep saying that. Blue Velvet by David Lynch. Yeah, this is definitely a classic work of cinema, without a doubt. That ought to be in every film buff's collection. Yeah, very, very nice. And here's a wonderful movie, The Princess Bride. A wonderful movie in a wonderfully packaged, you know, illustrated, cloth-bound, ditchy book. Now, I hope that Criterion is going to do more of these ditchy books. I mean, look at this. It's a lovely, lovely edition. The transfer, you know, 4K transfer looks gorgeous, and yeah, it's just a very, very nice edition, this one. Very, very nice. Next is The Uninvited. This is one of the favorite scary movies of both Martin Scorsese and Guillermo del Toro. I don't find it scary myself, but it's certainly an effective and very atmospheric ghost story about a brother and a sister played by Ray Milland and Ruth Hussey, who purchased an abandoned mansion by the sea and soon finds out that the place is haunted. Fantastic film with stunning cinematography by Charles Lang, who was also behind the camera of Some Like It Hot, Charade, Ace in the Hole, and many other great films. Detour, an excellent little film noir jam that was public domain for many years, but thanks to Criterion it has gotten the proper release it deserves. And same thing they did with One Night Jacks and Carnival of Souls and Night of the Living Dead. Directed by Edgar G. Elmer, who also was a set designer. And as a set designer, he worked on a few Fritz Lang films, including M and Metropolis. Or at least that's what he claimed. According to Fritz Lang himself, it's not true at all. But what is true is that Ulmer did work with F.W. Murnau on Sunrise, and he worked with Billy Wilder, Fred Zinnemann, and the Zietmak brothers on a film called People on Sunday, which is also released on Blu-ray by Criterion. But the reason why Ulmer was never as big and successful as those other guys is mainly because he was involved in a scandal. He had an affair with a woman named Shirley Kessler, who was married to the nephew of Carl Laemmle, the studio head of Universal Pictures, for whom Ulmer directed The Black Cat with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. But anyway, Ulmer was banned from the major Hollywood studios, and he was degraded, to make low budget and sometimes no budget B pictures like Detour. And you know what? He was a good director. He did his best with the material that was given to him, no matter how low the budget was. And speaking of scandals, the main actor, Tom Neal, he was sentenced to prison for 10 years for killing his wife in 1965, exactly 20 years after the release of Detour. But ultimately he was released on parole after 6 years. But anyway, this is a good film, and thank you Criterion for bringing this out. Next is Overlord, a great World War II drama that was filmed in an interesting way. Originally the director Stuart Cooper wanted to make a documentary, but instead decided to tell a fictional story about a young soldier from the day he's called up until the moment he's fighting on Omaha Beach. And you can tell that Cooper wanted to make a documentary because it was shot in a documentary style, and he used actual footage from the war. And that combination between newsreels and fictional storytelling works really well. Fantastic cinematography by John Alcott. His best work is without a doubt Barry and Lyndon. I mean, that's just visually one of the most astonishing pieces of cinema ever created. Yep. I have a couple of French films here, and the first one is La Vérité by Henri-Georges Clouzot, who was best known as the French master of suspense. He directed masterpieces like Le Diabolique and The Wages of Fear. And with this film, he once again shows what a brilliant craftsman he really was. Although it's not as impressive as the two aforementioned films, in my opinion. But it's still a sublime work of cinema with quite possibly Brigitte Bardot's finest hour. She's absolutely wonderful in this. She just blew me away. And that is Clouseau's wife, by the way, Vera Clouseau, who contributed on the screenplay, and she was also in Le Diabolique as well. Sadly enough, she died of a heart attack shortly after the premiere of La Vérité, and she was very young. I believe she was in her mid-40s. But yeah. The other French film is Panique. I would love to tell you about it, especially about the ending, but if I did that, I would spoil it, and obviously I don't want to do that. What I can say is that the ending made me angry. Not because it was bad or disappointing or anything like that. On the contrary, it made quite an impact on me. But something happens to a certain character, and that made me angry. I want to tell you more about it, but all I can say is check it out yourself. It's a terrific film with an incredible ending that really makes you think. And there's a featurette on here with two French critics, and one of them says that Hitchcock must have seen this film and must have been inspired by it. And I completely agree. I mean, the film has some, what you would call, Hitchcockian moments. But anyway, go see it. Panique. I picked up the Before trilogy by Richard Linklater. And here are the films individually. Before Sunrise, which is absolutely wonderful. I mean, first time I saw it, I just fell in love with it. It's basically about two young people played by Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, who meet each other on a train, and after that they walk in the streets of Vienna, and they talk and fall in love with each other, and that's it. That's the movie, but it has such a relaxed and mellow vibe. I just loved it. And here's the booklet, by the way, with a picture of the director Richard Linklater. Yeah, very, very nice. And here's the second one, Before Sunset. Not as good as the first one, but a worthy follow-up for sure. And the last one of the trilogy, Before Midnight, which I still haven't seen yet. But before I'm going to watch this one, I'd like to revisit the previous two, because I haven't done that in a while. I might watch them back to back, do a little Before trilogy marathon or something. Yep. Very nice. And the final Criterion title is Ivan's Childhood, Andrei Tarkovsky's debut film, which I haven't seen yet either. Yes, I know. I should have seen it by now. Anyway, that is it for my Criterion Collection update of 2020. I promise that the next one won't be a year or 2 years from now. I will try to make one later this year. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.